Okay, so nobody really prepares you for this part. The things that made you successful in school, like getting a good grade on your test or in your class, do not equal automatic success in the real world, in your career, at your job. And what some of you are doing in the real world does not reflect how smart you are. The way that you are communicating or not communicating is actually making people think that you're not as smart as you really are. Give me a few minutes and we'll improve your speaking by about 133%. Let's talk about how you answer questions, because this is a big area of improvement that will be so impactful if you have an interview, if you're negotiating, if you're in a meeting, if you're networking. In so many situations, you need to answer questions. Oh, of course, how could I forget if you're presenting and someone spontaneously asks you a question and you have to answer on the spot. This is very stressful for most people, but it doesn't have to be when you have my D.N.A.S method. I'm going to share what this means and how you can use it to answer questions so much better in English. This is a sneak peek of the full lesson about the D.N.A.S method that includes a worksheet with a quiz, practice exercises, a transcript, and so much more. You can get that at the Go Natural English blog. I will link to it in the description here in the pinned comment so that you can go check out the full lesson. So when you're in an interview or on a panel or presenting and someone asks you a question, most people just start speaking. You're nervous, you're stressed, and you think the best thing you can do in that moment is to start answering quickly. Well, that is not the case. Take a moment to prepare. Pause and think. This is crucial because when you start speaking before thinking, your answer comes out very unclear. This is when answers come out sounding messy, unintelligent, and unclear. Let me give you an example of what not to do. A question that people ask me a lot, since I love to travel and I've been very blessed to be able to travel so many places in the world, is, so what's your favorite place you've traveled to? Well, I don't know, but I thought that when I went to Thailand, the beaches were really pretty. And then there was that time when I was a kid and I went to London with my parents, and I remember trying fish and chips there for the first time. They were really delicious. But speaking of good food, honestly, I love going to New York City because you can find every kind of restaurant you ever want to try. And it's so energizing because there's people in the streets all the time. Oh, and I do love Times Square with all the bright lights and people walking around. It's very inspiring. But, I think this is all to say I'm kind of a big city person. So if I had to choose between the beach and the big city, I do love the beach, but, I've enjoyed a lot of big cities. So yeah, I'd say that's it. Was that hard to listen to? I would say yes. Did I sound interesting? I would say no. Did I sound smart? I would also say no. My answer was long and disorganized, messy, and honestly painful to listen to. When you speak, when you answer a question, you have to think from the point of view of your listener. What will make your answer clear to them? Most people don't have the patience for anything but the most direct answer nowadays. The listener has to listen to all of this gobbledygook, unscramble it, try to figure out what you meant to say. And meanwhile, they're thinking about how to even respond. This problem comes from sharing unprocessed thoughts. And it gives your listener a bigger load to lift, meaning they have to do more work just to listen to you talk. And honestly, it's not enjoyable. It makes people not want to talk to you. You may have no idea that you're doing this, But I want you to use my D.N.A.S method next time you answer a question. Start practicing it so that you're prepared to give a more direct and concise answer that people will actually enjoy listening to. Before you verbalize, organize. And this is how you do that. Before you answer any question, take a deep breath and pause. It's okay to take a moment to think. And I recommend using a phrase that gives you even more time, like, "That's a great question," or "Let me think about that," or even just a sound, a filler like or "well." I know a lot of people who teach communication and speaking do not recommend using filler words like or "well." But in this case, if you need an extra couple of seconds to organize your thoughts, it will improve your speaking 133% to be precise if you use a filler word. It's better than simply starting to talk without any organization. Let me share my 4-step D.N.A.S method. That's D.N.A.S. This acronym will help you to remember the steps to take to answer clearly. First, be direct. Think about what is the most direct way to answer the question. There's a misconception that speaking at length, giving a long, complex answer is going to make you sound smart, when actually it just makes people confused. The best thing you can do, especially in American culture, is to be direct with your answers. You can always add more by giving examples or sharing your experience, but the most important thing, if you remember any part of the D.N.A.S method, is to be direct. No more than one sentence that answers the question clearly and completely. If you want to expand on your direct answer, then use N numbers, meaning number your reasons why you answered this way. This goes for your writing and, most importantly, your speaking. Use first, second, third to organize your reasons or examples. A, use an anecdote or analogy. These are ways of saying a short story or example to illustrate your reason. This is great if you have a little bit more time to give your answer, but not completely necessary if you just need to answer quickly. Finally, S is summary. You might wonder, why do I need to summarize my answer or say the same thing again? Well, it's not just for understanding or repetition. It's a sign that you are done answering. Your listener will know that when you start to repeat yourself or summarize your answer, that you're done answering. There's no need to say, "Well, that's it," or "I'm done." In fact, that sounds really weird. So instead of saying, "That's it," summarize your answer. Now let me give you a better example of an answer to the question, what's your favorite place you've ever traveled to? My favorite place, hands down, is New York City. I've traveled to a lot of interesting places and they all have their pros and cons, but New York is my favorite for 3 reasons. First, it has unmatched energy. Every neighborhood feels alive 24/7. Second, diversity. You can hear 5 different languages on the same block. And as a linguist, I love that. Third, it always pushes me to grow. Every time I visit, it levels up my creativity and expands my view of the world. Last summer, for example, I spent the afternoon at the Met Museum, and then I met up with several other entrepreneurs. We went to listen to jazz and had dinner together. It was an unmatched experience. Going to New York is like plugging my brain into a power outlet. It really recharges me and excites me and gives me more zest for life and business. So that's why New York is my favorite. And that's why New York City is my favorite. Did you hear the numbers? Did you hear how direct I was? I said my answer in the first sentence very clearly. Did you hear the numbers I said? First, second, third, and I even started by saying I have 3 reasons why New York City is my favorite. Just by saying numbers, It sounds like you've really thought about this before. It's like a mini essay that you're saying out loud. This is how you should organize your writing also. But when you can do this, when you speak spontaneously, it takes your communication to a whole new level. And if you want to be a world-class communicator, make sure to catch the rest of this lesson with supporting dialogues, more examples, a quiz, and even a worksheet to practice with. So whether you're improving your speaking skills on your own, or if you're a teacher teaching advanced English as a second language, this is for you. Catch the link in the description or in the pinned comment. So my D.N.A.S method works anytime you want to answer a question. In an interview, on a panel, making a presentation, and answering spontaneous questions. Really, any question. Use it to be organized, concise, and memorable. Next, I want to share some practice drills and also how you can use AI to practice my D.N.A.S method on your own. But that's inside the full lesson at gonaturaleNglish.com. Check the link to the specific blog post in the description and the pinned comment. I will see you there. Bye for now.